Our ultimate vision is to have access to a space where modernization and development are at the core of all we do as Jamaicans. What better way than government charting that path, creating footsteps of those very same things we seek so we can follow suit? It has already started, and from here, we're only promised a better island home. Welcome to our new Jamaica, and welcome to today's Jamaica Magazine. I'm Theodore Henry, happy as always to take you through the invaluable experience that our magazine provides.
Let's get a little breeze on this land. All right. Now let's get some bounce in the rhythm. All right. Let's get some fire on our hearts. Now that is what we call all right. Run, come, get some Jamaica.
Good day, I'm Stephen McHugh, and this is your JIS News for Wednesday, March 4. Finance Minister Dr. Nigel Clarke says a contingency provision has been set aside in the budget to adequately deal with COVID-19's onset should this occur.
A response would take the form of ensuring, for example, that we have adequate facilities for quarantining, which might mean preparing buildings and we have appropriate, medication and so on.
The Finance Minister was addressing members of the Standing Finance Committee of the House during a review of the 2020-21 estimates of expenditure on Tuesday. Minister Clarke says Jamaica's stable economy has put the country in a good position to respond to possible economic downturn in production and trade from the coronavirus COVID-19 outbreak.
The good news is that central bank, we have resources on the fiscal side where economically stable, and the key is to monitor, to get information and be in a position to react as soon as the situation demands it. Yeah. And we remain nimble enough to be able to do that.
The Ministry of Education has developed a three-tiered education in emergencies response system as a precautionary measure to brace for the possible introduction of the COVID-19 virus on the island. Under Level 1 of the strategy, bulletins are issued to schools outlining tips and measures to prevent its spread. Level 2 involves updating bulletins issued to schools advising parents to ensure children who have flu-like symptoms remain at home until they are fully recovered. Schools will also be provided with between $30,000 and $50,000 to procure and distribute hand sanitizers, hand washing soap, and disinfectant. Under Level 3 of the emergency system, school leaders will be asked to create online spaces for children who are unwell to continue their learning. In addition to providing Wi-Fi compatible tools such as tablets, the ministry will reschedule exams or activities as well as extend the school year if necessary. The Education Ministry says online learning kits are being prepared by the ministry's curriculum unit for uploads on the MOEYI websites. PEP practice booklets and PEP camp workbooks have been prepared for electronic distribution to support continued preparation. There will also be multi-sectoral partnerships to ensure consistency in messages and informed responses. And Prime Minister Andrew Holness says the island's National Disaster Committee will meet this Thursday to extend its national response to the COVID-19 virus. From that meeting, it's expected that a subcommittee to deal with the day-to-day management of the island's disaster response mechanism will be formed. While the state is implementing measures to protect the island from the virus, Mr. Holness called on citizens to make their health a top priority.
Exercise greater caution and vigilance in public places. Be careful about the surfaces you touch. That is the personal responsibility and the personal vigilance that every citizen will have to protect our country.
In other news, ground has been broken for a one-year $950 million project. Tuesday's Port Royal Street Coastal Revetment Project will see to the building of a 1-kilometer seawall along the corridor that stretches from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs building to Raytown. In addition to drainage upgrades, the raising of the roadway, and the construction of a boardwalk, a new 80-meter fishing beach will be created.
This intervention will secure the Port Royal Street corridor and protect critical infrastructure along the coastline from the impacts associated with sea level rise and coastal erosion.
The project is being managed by the Jamaica Social Investment Fund through a World Bank loan. And finally, government and the World Bank have signed a $40 million loan agreement for implementation of the second phase of the Rural Economic Development Initiative READY2 program. Tuesday's signing is expected to improve access to markets and increase resilience to climate change for 200 micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises in agriculture, tourism, and community-based activities in rural areas. Some 70,000 persons are to benefit from investment, training, and capacity-building initiatives. READY2 will be implemented by the Jamaica Social Investment Fund.
It will consist of multiple parts, and the first part will seek to ensure that the linkages within the rural economy are deepened and are strengthened through initiatives such as ensuring that we can have access to drought-resistant crops, for example, that are climate-resistant, and that the supply chain is strengthened through the implementation of cold storage facilities, drying and packing houses, and so forth.
We are very proud that we can help and contribute to your vision of enhancing growth and improving employment opportunities.
And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stephen McHugh. Thanks for watching.
Let's start with developments in our public sector. Government has created this program that is shaping a public sector that is easily adapting to meet the needs of today's citizens. It's a high point of development for our nation, and today we want to share that with you.
Transformation is about creating a public sector that can adapt to a radically changing environment to meet the needs of the 21st century citizen. And that's exactly what the Public Sector Transformation and Modernization Program, PSTMP, has been doing right here in Jamaica.
The Public Sector Transformation and Modernization Program is a government-wide initiative managed by the Office of the Cabinet. The program encompasses projects which build the capacity of workers and provide support and direction to ministries, departments, and agencies to enable them to deliver the highest quality of services to people who do business with the government of Jamaica.
One service being transformed is the registration of businesses at the Companies Office of Jamaica. In times past, business or company owners had to go through several tedious steps to complete this process.
The customer would come to the company's office to register a business name. Then he or she would have to go to the tax office to get an NIS number. The transaction cost, the travel cost to do that was high. The time to register a business name was high as well.
In 2008, the Ministry of Industry, Commerce, Agriculture and Fisheries implemented a one-stop shop program. And in 2014, the Business Registration Form, or BRF, was developed.
You complete the business registration form, more popularly known as the super form. You submit it to the company's office, and once you have done that, once the application is approved, then you are not only registered with the company's office, but you're also registered with the Tax Administration Jamaica. So you get a TRN, Taxpayer Registration Number. You're registered with the Ministry of Labor and Social Security, so you get an NIS number, and you are registered to deduct contributions on behalf of your employees for NHT and Hard Trust. So with the introduction of the super form, transaction costs were cut significantly, as well as the time to register. And it was more convenient because you just had to come to the company's office and you'd be registered with all the other business startup agencies.
The BRF has significantly reduced the amount of time to start a business, from 6 to 4 days for a company and 4 to 2 days for a business name. To date, approximately 50,400 business names and 14,000 company names have been registered using the form. But it doesn't stop there. In April 2014, the Public Sector Transformation Modernization Program team started working with the COJ to develop an electronic version of the manual business registration form, the EBRF.
The electronic business registration form is just to allow persons to register their business names from anywhere in the world that they are. So they don't need to come into the company's office. They can stay whether they're at their homes or in their offices, as I said, wherever in the world they are, and register their business names. You can find the EBRF form on our website. The website is www.orcjamaica.com.
All that's needed is reliable internet access, a subscriber account with the COJ, an email address, a scanner for uploading documents, and information to register your business or company name. And for those who may not have access to a computer or internet service, the EBRF will be accessible through kiosks set up in revenue service centers across the island, as well as at the company's office in Kingston.
So the kiosks are really set up to allow persons who do not have internet access otherwise to register their business names online. And they will be using the electronic business registration form that is just an electronic version of the super form. There are 3 kiosks that will be placed at revenue service centers in Montego Bay, in Twickenham Park, and in the Constant Spring tax offices. Those are the first set. There will be other kiosks in the future.
Once you have successfully registered your business or company name on the COJ website, you will get an update within 2 days. A notification will be sent to you via email that the COJ has completed the registration of your company or business name. The email will also include an electronic copy of the certificate of registration. You can then arrange for the registration certificate to be sent to you by courier, or you may pick up the certificate at the company's office.
The international investing community as well as the local investing community, they look at the World Bank's Doing Business Index, in which it ranks country according to the seamlessness of doing business in order to mobilize investments. When an investor is thinking about investing, they look at that index. Now, the company's office plays an important role in the mobilization and creation of businesses. And one of the things that we want is to create business as efficiently as possible, because entrepreneurship is important to economic activity and the acceleration of economic growth. The company's office has space constraint, so they much rather people not come into the office in order to register their businesses, because it's a more efficient process. And that is why the electronic registry is so important, because we need to create more businesses in order to accelerate economic growth and to create more jobs in order to improve the quality of life of our people.
The Public Sector Transformation and Modernization Program, PSTM, will continue to increase public sector efficiency and satisfaction, making Jamaica the place of choice to live, work, raise families, and do business. The EBRF is a project of the Public Sector Transformation and Modernization Program of Government and the Company's Office of Jamaica. The project is funded by the Inter-American Development Bank under the Public Sector Efficiency Program.
For more information on the electronic business registration form, you can go online, www.orcjamaica.com. You can email us at costsupport@orcjamaica.com, or you can call us at 908-441-9223.
Register your business online, register your business
From anywhere in the world.
It's easy to register your business or your
Register
company.
your business at the Company's Office of Jamaica's website, orcjamaica.com. A message from the COJ and the Public Sector Transformation and Modernization Program of Government and the Inter-American Development Bank.
Developments are also sweeping through our trading industries, opening up a range of big possibilities for Little Jamaica. That just means that a lot is happening here, and recently there's been a simplified way of conducting international trade transactions through an electronic single window for trade. Here's more on that.
Picture this. You're a busy entrepreneur working hard to grow your business. At the wharf to be cleared are the materials needed to make your products. You are required to visit several government offices and fill out multiple forms with similar information to complete this activity, spending time on the trading process that could otherwise be invested in your business. For you, this may just be a mental exercise, but for many entrepreneurs in Jamaica, it is the reality of trade. A reality that will change with the introduction of the Jamaica Electronic Single Window for Trade. An electronic single window ESW is an IT platform that facilitates the efficient clearance of cargo.
An electronic single window is expected to bring simplification, harmonization, and facilitation on international trade transactions under a robust electronic environment. This will bring facilities for customs brokers, government officials to interact with a computerized systems that will have a set of business rules that will allow the traders to fulfill all regulatory requirements, submit all the required data, and be able to complete their transactions in a single and seamless system.
With that electronic single window for trade, clearly it's an electronic form, and that will be filled out one time at your convenience, online, and then behind the scene, the BRAs, the Border Related Agency, will collaborate to ensure that your application is accepted.
The agencies connected to the system will be able to grant the necessary permits, licenses, and approval for the release of merchandise. When approval is given, the trader receives a notification and can then proceed to collect or send off goods. The introduction of an ESW will reduce the cost and time it takes to import and export goods, creating a more enabling environment for local entrepreneurs and foreign investors.
Where we can develop and implement a system where all the transactions can take place through a particular port or point or window in this instance, it makes doing business easier. By extension, therefore, it is expected that the interest in conducting business will be improved, will be increased, and investors will see Jamaica as an even more attractive investor destination. On the other side, it also will aid in the collection of revenue, where we can have a greater throughput of trade and of activity, which by extension generates even much more in terms of the economy.
Implementation of the ESW began in August 2018, and the timeline for completion is 36 months. Over 20 border and regulatory government agencies will connect to the platform. The entity responsible for collecting revenue from trade, the Jamaica Customs Agency, is the lead implementing agency.
The electronic single window system will be fully integrated, of course, with the Ascuda World system. They're both built on the Ascuda World platform. That information will be passed seamlessly from the electronic single window into the customs management system. And that, of course, reduces time and complexity, having a single point of contact and simplification of information. So that transparent environment, having that electronic track and trace, and of course, ensuring that persons are carrying out their functions within the agreed time frame.
The ESW is projected to reduce the number of entities a trader comes in contact with from as much as 5 to 1. In the future, this is how a trader could be making arrangements for the clearance of goods. The Jamaica Electronic Single Window, facilitating efficiency in trade, contributing to a robust business environment, a part of the framework for making it easier to do business with Jamaica.
While we're facilitating better trading spaces and improved public sector services, we're also thinking about your everyday mobility needs. Through the continuous development and upgrading of the Jamaica Urban Transit Company, JUTC, our government is creating a public transportation system that is accommodating of all Jamaicans.
From the fingers of political activist Helen Keller came this oft-repeated statement: "The worst thing is to be born sighted but lack vision." Among our people are many whose sight is impaired, making it more challenging to navigate the roads of our ever-changing national space. Over a decade ago, the state-owned bus company had the vision to recognize their need for a public transport system that is accommodating of all Jamaicans.
I lose my sight. It's going from 89, totally blind, 2004. 89 when I check my sight, 5% in the left eye and 95 in the right eye. Everything goes 2004. Well, 2004, I was fretting on it. I hear about Society for the Blind and Mrs. Wallace, who do the training, who train us to take the bus. Train us to go to transport center, walk on the road, walk between light posts, walk on the sidewalk. I prefer to take the JUTC. When I take the bus to the transport center, boy, the customer service is very nice. They ask you where you're going and then take you downstairs or upstairs and then put you on a seat to sit down. Sometimes they wait on you till the bus comes and put you inside the bus and tell the driver, where to let you off.
Since 2005, the JUTC began offering a disabled service, and we did so recognizing that there are other forms of transportation service or operators who do not provide a similar service to members of the disabled community. We recognize that they're an important part of the traveling community, and it is in fact incumbent on us, being a government-run entity, to provide such a service for those who may not otherwise be able to access private transportation services. Over the course of that period, we have also imported several units, several specially designed buses for persons with varying degrees of disability. We have a cadre of customer service representatives who have been introduced to a wide range of customer service related responsibilities and functions. In fact, 10 to 12 of them who are rostered weekly to provide critical care to members of the disabled community. Our customer service agents take them to and from the buses, and of course anywhere within the location of the Halfway Tree Transport Center. They also provide sanitary support for them.
I lost my sight last year, February. Taking the transport, sometimes I'm feeling excited. Sometimes, not all times. Because taking the transport, I can miss my steps. When crossing the road, sometimes I'm feeling down. Nervous, like, can't wait to get over it. I can cross in the road, anything can hit me. So those things will run in my intention. Yeah, and hole can be there. And even though the kid will drop in the hole sometime, you can still do wrong things and drop same way. So there's something else come up in my thought at all times. Crossing the road, taking the vehicle. And sometimes tears come at my eyes because the way how the person react, people will see me. Some of them will say, you're not blind. And you act like you're blind because your eyes don't look like you're blind.
Part of the training involves engaging the Disabilities Foundation to see how it is that we ought to care for members of the disabled community. So for example, there is in fact a particular standard and protocol in which persons who are blind, for example, ought to be carried around.
One day I was at the bus stop. I took a bus 46 from downtown, and I asked tell the driver, I said, I'm going at Union Square Drug Serve. It was a woman driver, and believe you me, when the lady reached Drug Serve, she tapped the bus on the left side there and come out of the driver's seat and take me across the road right to the jug serve. I was so pleased, man. You have some nice driver.
The visually impaired individual is firstly someone with basic human rights, those shared by every other Jamaican. And while a disability-friendly transport system may not be on the list of basic human rights, as the JUTC recognizes, it is a critical part of ensuring that Jamaica is truly a place where everyone of every ability can live, work, raise families, and do business.
As much as we've outlined today, it's still not nearly enough to capture the myriad of work that's happening here in Jamaica. And to be quite fair, 30 minutes isn't enough either. But I'm going to take just a little bit more time to share some other developments with you. Here goes. $1.54 billion reserved for cybersecurity initiatives. This year, our government has set aside that much money to improve cybersecurity initiatives and purchase telecommunications equipment for the Jamaica Defense Force and the Jamaica Constabulary Force. Number 2, a $1 billion multi-resort development in St. Ann. Our Prime Minister and the Tourism Minister broke ground for a multi-resort development called Sugarcane Bay Jamaica in Landover, St. Ann. The landmark investment will create 10,000 new permanent jobs, attract approximately 375,000 visitors annually, and generate $850 million yearly into the economy. And number 3, $276 million for community development projects. This fiscal year, government is embarking on an initiative to enhance access to basic urban infrastructure and services and to support increased community safety in selected economically vulnerable areas. Activities to be undertaken include providing 162 households with improved access to water sources, providing 2,644 households with access to improved sanitation, providing 997 households with alternative fencing, and completing the rehabilitation of approximately 24 kilometers of roadways and 9 schools. It's happening, but we're encouraging you that wherever you can make the process smoother, easier, and faster, just lend a helping hand. No? We're truly on our way to making Jamaica the place of choice to live, work, raise families, and yes, do business. This is where today's program ends, but share something you learned today with someone. The story does not have to end here. You can also share stories from our previous shows by going on to our YouTube channel and by visiting the JIS website. That's at www.jis.gov.jm. Also, visit our Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter pages. And on behalf of the entire production team here at the JIS, I'm Theodore Henry. Thanks for watching, and do take care.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.